Greetings, it's Sunday night, and it is the evening in which we celebrate the day of a Christian entrepreneur. That's right. St. Patrick. If ever there was a Christian entrepreneur, he was truly one of them. And we may have lost the complete story in all of the celebration and all of the stuff that goes on, which is not always very godly behavior. But I would really encourage you, if you've never done so, to really look at the story of St. Patrick, a Christian entrepreneur. I'm Stan Husted. It is Sunday night. It's time for a Sunday night meeting and a little conversation about God, the model entrepreneur. Just something to kind of finish up your weekend and get you ready for Monday Meets the Marketplace. This is the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience, and it begins right now. And indeed, we do come back. And I found out that a group of people at Saturday Night Live and other places were guilty of plagiarism. Well, that happens all the time. In fact, I find that from time to time people even steal things from me, and I want to make sure that I'm never guilty of plagiarism, that if I even have a good idea, I give full attribution to it. So, to Dr. Brian Baugus, and he's writing in Hugh Welchow's wonderful publication. He and his team at the Institute for Faith, Work, and Economics put together a daily blog of thoughts on just exactly that: faith, work, economics, and how religious freedom is the forum for all of the freedoms. And I really enjoyed this little article that was put together. They kind of put it out of their archives, and it was simply called God, the Model Entrepreneur. God, the Model Entrepreneur. And I would like to begin and share it with you because it is all of the things that I believe, and even more so. He begins with what I call the fifth word. We've used that expression ourselves. In the beginning, God created. In the beginning, God created. The fifth word is created. And that is truly one of the principles of the Christian Entrepreneur Network at tcemglobal.org. The principle 3 is fifth word. We are called to be creators. So that's why I really dug into this and found it fascinatingly frank and wonderful. In the beginning, God created. Throughout the history of Christianity, a sort of Christian hierarchy of accepted vocations emerged. At the top of those that answered the call, such as missionaries and others in full-time church employment. Somewhere near the bottom has traditionally been the merchant class. Businessmen, as we call them today. As the Barna Group found in a survey that was conducted in 2013, few Christians believe they're called to do what they do. This data presents a challenge to the popular Christian understanding of career as calling, since most Christians in the United States don't seem to be thinking about their jobs in terms of calling. Now, this is consistent with historical Christianity. During the larger part of Christian history, a number of commercial activities were prohibited, or at least discouraged by church teachings. Martin Luther wrote against foreign trade and trading in what he termed things that serve no useful purpose. That was in a 1524 tract entitled On Trading and Usury. We still see vestiges of this thinking in seminaries. Undoubtedly, this is carrying over into the pulpits. This is wrong, and we need a better understanding of what entrepreneurship and what entrepreneurs do. This is just vibrating with me. Learning about entrepreneurship from the one who invented it. Entrepreneurs are creators. The creative process is often something we celebrate. Christians can look at great art, like the Sistine Chapel or the Last Supper, and marvel at the beauty and creativity of the artist, which we should. But we often completely miss the creative art required to start and successfully operate a commercial enterprise. Just an aside, I remember one commentator who said, to build and have a small business survive is some of the hardest work in the world. Entrepreneurs are creative people. They are often as passionate as artists about what they are doing, but also have to serve people passionately. There is a stereotypical characterization of the starving artist creating only to please himself. While this is a romantic notion of artists with only the barest hint of realism, we do not have the same notion of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs must be sure that what they are doing, the one thing, their creation must serve their fellow man, or they are no longer entrepreneurs. As I said, there are a lot of unsuccessful people, but there are no unsuccessful businessmen, businesswomen, because if they're unsuccessful, they're out of business. The entrepreneurial process requires a lot from a person. It requires them to look at the world and see an unmet need, an area of dissatisfaction or a problem, and then visualize a solution. Often a solution others disparage and ridicule. In many cases, the solution requires a completely different approach, something no one else could see, like a vision that there could be a mass market for wireless handheld phones or computers in every home. Few saw that life would be that much better with such devices. Within living memory, this stuff was science fiction. Now, I'm not saying that entrepreneurs are closer to God in some way because they're entrepreneurs, but the entrepreneurial process requires certain Christian traits and is enabled by our being made in God's image. God is a creator, and He made us in His image. That's why we say we are called to be creators. To create something truly useful, we must create like God did for others. It serves His purpose to have a world and people and a universe, so He created it. But it is largely for our benefit and for our use. In Genesis 1:27 through 30, God tells Adam and Eve He has given them creation for sustenance and cultivation. God reiterates this to Noah in Genesis 9:1 through 3. As I say, God is always giving us an entrepreneurial commission. Our mission is to discover God's entrepreneurial commission for you and me. And the same is true of an entrepreneur. To create something lasting and of value, the enterprise must serve others, give them value, make life more enjoyable and easier in some way. An entrepreneur that creates purely for himself has a hobby, not a business. He is indulging his interests, not looking to serve his fellow man by making his life better in some way. The first thing the Bible tells us about God is that He is a creator. In the beginning, God created. You know, the above picture, and he's showing the picture of the Sistine Chapel, a hand creating the world that is artistically beautiful, but also a system designed to work and function. We cannot tell for sure if the hand is holding the paintbrush of an artist or the pencil of an architect. But forms of creation are in His nature and ours, and we should embrace them both and celebrate a successful business just as we celebrate a beautiful work of art. I would like that to use my own signature expression. Would you just let that sit on your head for a while on this Sunday night? I would encourage you to do what all really good, successful people often do. When they get a good idea or they hear a good idea, they listen to it again and again, at least 3 times. And so I'd encourage you to go back and listen to this again and again. Give great thanks to Dr. Brian Baugus. He's the Assistant Professor of Business Leadership and Management at Regent University in Virginia Beach, Virginia. He's also the visiting professor of the African Bible University in Kampala, Uganda. He holds a doctorate and a master's in economics from George Mason University, an MBA in finance from Vanderbilt, and a BA in economics from McDaniel College. He's worked in banking, consulting, and government. And he's one of those people I talk about. World class. A world-class Christian entrepreneur. That's what we're called to be. We're called to be world-class. We're called to be creative entrepreneurs. And I would just like you to think about that on this Sunday evening as you meet the marketplace. Again, you're listening to the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience. My name is Stan Houston. We come to your way from the Christian Entrepreneur Network, tcenglobal.org, tcenglobal.org. And I would appreciate if you found this and what we do useful, that you would also add tcenglobal.org/contribute now. And we can use your help to make this outreach and project grow. This week I'll be very busy. I'll be going to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Sioux Falls is kind of what we're going to quarter the Christian Entrepreneur Network. Sioux Falls, a small city, but a growing and glowing and a city full of Christian entrepreneurs. And it truly is a place where startups can survive and thrive. And we are truly seeking to be the spirit home of the startup nation. And that's why we're going to be talking a lot about SFX. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you'll need to have a spiritual force experience in who you are and what you do. Now, my commission for the week. What are you going to create this week? Can you tell me? I would ask you, would you be real specific about saying in your daily prayer, God, I'm going to be a doer, I'm going to be a manager, I'm going to be a messenger, I'm perhaps going to be a thinker, I'm going to have some real challenges and perhaps some real opportunities, but God, what can I create? New idea, new solutions, new ways of doing things. God, make me to be in your image, a creator this week. By the way, I already have mine set. It's ready to go. I am going to create a program just for you. Part of what we're all about is helping people all over the world create things that will help market and demonstrate their business. And one of them will be how to do just exactly what we're doing. Podcasting is going and growing, and you will need to deal with it. And we're going to have a class, a course, ready for you and your business and your group and your entrepreneurship fellowship on how to become a business broadcaster, how to use the broadcast medium on the internet, which is truly World Wide Web, That's how wide it is. We're going to teach you how to do that, how to be one of the business broadcasters who's reaching out to hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe even millions of people with some wisdom, insight, and truth, some of God's special wisdom, insight, strength, and direction, so that you can be a Christian entrepreneur. You were made to create, and I trust that that's exactly what you're going to do. Again, my name is Stan Houston. You can reach me at radioedge77@gmail.com, radioedge77@gmail.com. Raise your hand and say, Stan, I have some ideas. I'd like to be on the program. Tell me more about how can I be a worldwide, world-class Christian entrepreneur. We'd love to teach you how to do that. And we're actually going to begin first thing next week. We're going to be asking you 3 questions that might be able to help you decide what kind of teaching or radio program that you would be called. And I believe it might be called to be a world-class Christian entrepreneur and perhaps a world-class business broadcast communicator. All the best and blessings to you. May it be a week that's full of opportunity. It will be a week full of difficulty, I promise you. But also may it be a week of creativity. God's with you in that. The model entrepreneur is Jesus, and He is smiling upon you, and He will bless you with His Spirit as you seek to bless others with what you create. All the best and blessings. Take care. Bye for now.